Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mariah Sanctuary. I'm Mariah. Today's live stream is on the topic of celebrities who are ADHDers. The information below came from the Cosmopolitan website in the article Celebrities with ADHD from Barry Keoghan to Amy Lou Wood and Will I Am. Celebrities with ADHD. Amy Lou Wood. Amidst the buzz of White Lotus, the actor or actress Amy Lou Wood shared that she was diagnosed with ADHD with autistic traits in her 20s. In an interview with The Times, she shared how, as a child, she also struggled with eating and socializing. I was almost mute, very socially anxious, and I couldn't sit and eat a meal, Amy explained. My mom had to leave food around the house, and I'd snack around. Now I know that it was neurodivergence. She added, I got diagnosed a few years ago with ADHD with autistic traits, and I'm sorry for any noise here in the background. But then it has been advised that I should go for an autism assessment. They think that maybe it's autism that leading the charge, and ADHD is almost and byproduct of masking. Number 2, Renee Rapp. Mean Girls star Renee Rapp has been incredibly open about ADHD after she grew up with it undiagnosed. Speaking to the official charts last year, she confessed, I didn't know or understand what it was, but now I do, and I really love it. Explaining that it helps her creative process, the 24-year-old said, when I'm writing a song, 10 songs are coming out of the concept. My brain is in 10 different places. I actually enjoy it. It's exhausting, don't get me wrong, but it's also fun. But it's really fun. Number 3, Jessie J. In July, Jessie J shared a candid Instagram post of her performing as a teenager, accompanied by a caption telling her fans that she was diagnosed with ADHD and OCD about 3 months ago. She continued, it's weird when you know you have been a little different and felt things differently your whole life. And finally, one day, when you least expect it, someone really explains why and you can't avoid it. 36-year-old went on to say that ADHD has such a wide spectrum, and it's like a mystery putting your version of it together. She added that she's understanding ways to cope, excel, and grow with it, and that she views her ADHD as a superpower. As long as you look at it from the right perspective, you have the right support and people around you that can navigate it with you, she concluded. Number 4, James Middleton. As an adult, James Middleton, the younger brother of Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, discovered he had ADHD. Years before, at age 11, he was formally diagnosed as dyslexic. In terms of his ADHD, James revealed to The Independent earlier this year that it impacted his ability to focus, something which has continued into adulthood. He explained, I feel like school and society's expectations of you is like a round hole, and if you are a round peg, it's a pleasant experience. If you are a different shape, all that they do is try to shave off the edges to make you fit. The 37-year-old added that he hopes by his time his young son Indigo goes to secondary school, the national curriculum is completely ripped up and changed because it's such an archaic, not fit for purpose structure. Number 5, Amber Gill. The winner of Love Island Season 5, Amber, has spoken about her experience with living with ADHD last year and described being diagnosed as a moment that prompted mixed feelings of relief and sadness. I wasn't having a good time at school, but now looking back, I'm like, OMG, that was what was happening, and it makes us feel a little bit sad because it went just under the radar and nobody noticed, she said during a Good American Britain appearance. I think I always function just a little bit differently to everyone else. Luckily, in the past few years, it has been talked about a lot more, and I kept thinking to myself, maybe you've got ADHD. That's the reason you're struggling to get your work done. As for how her life changed after getting diagnosed with ADHD, Amber went on to say that while she was initially reluctant to take medication for personally, it has been helpful. From diagnosis, everything just got a little better because I was a lot gentler with myself. I knew to say, okay, you've got ADHD, so maybe you can't do that today, but I was able to manage it better, which was then just enhanced when I got my medication as well. Number 6, Chloe Hayden. Breakheart High's Chloe Hayden is a huge advocate for autism and ADHD. The 27-year-old told stylists that being autistic is her superpower and does not know what life would be like without autism and ADHD. She told the outlet, "To this day, there are times when I'll discover that what I do feel and experience isn't common." What do you mean it's not normal? Neurodivergency means that I am incredibly creative and I don't have this invisible social constructed box that most of the population has decided on. My ideas, my art, the way I showcase my work, all that is limited only my imagination and not what society dictates. I can relate to hers because I am autistic, have ADHD, and dyslexic. Number 7, Michael Phelps. Hold on, guys. Where was I? Oh yes, sorry. In 2017, Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps opened about his struggles. Opened up about his struggles with ADHD as a child. While speaking in a video with Child Mind Institution Speak Up for Kids campaign, he recalled a teacher once predicted that he would never succeed. He said, "I saw kids who were all in the same class, and the teachers treated them differently than they would treat me. I had a teacher tell me that I would never amount to anything and I would never be successful." Michael continued, "I think that the biggest thing for me, once I found that it was okay to talk to someone and seek help, I think that something has to be changed. That's something that changed my life forever. Now I'm able to live life in its fullest." Number 8, Sam Fender. Sam Fender is credited his ADHD for helping his creativity and drive as a musician. 30-year-old admitted that he screwed up his A-levels because of his love of music and told BBC, "I've got ADHD, as you might be able to tell, and when you get hyper-focused in ADHD, it's like a superpower." Number 9, will.i.am. will.i.am was incredibly open back in 2018 about his experience with ADHD. Speaking to Mail Online, when he stressed, he doesn't see his ADHD as a flaw, but as a gift. The musician said that "I've suffered from ADHD for years, but I've learned how to control it. I look at that person, think about what I have to do now, and I'm going to do it. I'm sorry, and I'm going to eat later. Number 10, Busy Phillips. The girl I think it's Eva Starr, told Healthline that she started experiencing ADHD symptoms uh, from a very young age, but was never diagnosed until her daughter started to display signs. She said that finally being diagnosed, I've been overwhelmed for so many years for what I thought was some sort of deficiency in me, not being able to focus and keep different tasks straight, mixing up times and dates, double booking things, especially as a working mom. It can be very challenging, regarding of whether or not you have ADHD. But frequently, but I frequently felt so badly about myself that it affected my self-esteem as it as the years went on. But when Busy started medication that worked for her, she said, the world shifted in a way I perceived it and what I felt was capable to take on. Sharing that she takes a non-stimulant medication to help manage her symptoms, the 45-year-old added, it helped me with my uh, fog lift. Number 11, Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum was diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia when he was at school. In 2020, um, sorry, in 2020, People magazine shared some comments that the actor previously said to T. The New York Times Style magazine. Oh, hi, Logan. While admitting he never considered himself to be very smart, he recalled that his school years were a bit of a struggle. Tatum also said that the system is broken, stressed that if we could streamline a multi-billion-dollar company, we should be able to help kids who struggle like I did. And I completely relate to him. I understand exactly what he means. Number 12, Barry Keoghan. British actor Barry Keoghan talked about his experience with ADHD with Esquire magazine in 2023. The 31-year-old revealed that he had always suspected he had ADHD, even from a young age, but it wasn't until his late 20s that he was officially diagnosed. He recalled, it's something that should be recognized and talked about in adults. Barry then added about his medication, the difference is night and day. My mind used to be like a traffic jam, crazy, and then with the medication, it's like one car goes, then another car goes. Oh, I'm glad you missed me. As always, I'm here every Saturday at 12 and Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern, both Eastern times. Number 13, Thompson. During his stint on I Am a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here last year, um, the reality TV star and radio host spoke candidly about being diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 30. It's weird that no one really spotted it beforehand at school. Because if you look at my report cards, all my report cards, every single one of them is the same. It says likable enough guy, but lacks focus. It's like some staring you in the face to Sam. What was I gonna say? He added, if I had known as a child, not much would have changed, but how you feel about yourself probably changes. I remember crying into my textbooks because I was like, I can't understand the words that are going into my head. Oh, no worries, you're fine. You can always watch it later, no worries. Um, Number 14, Nicola Adams, the Olympic gold medalist, credits her neurodivergency to her success in boxing after she was diagnosed with ADHD at age 15. I think it helped my training, and I'll never get tired. Um, I've always got energy. It helps me with my shots. I'm always trying new things. She told the Guardian in 2017. I'm on Adderall, so I'm more focused. I stopped for a bit, but went on it again. When you have ADHD, you can start a million things. It gets very hard to focus and just finish one. The Adderall helps. Number 15, Robbie Williams. In a candid post on his Instagram page, the Angel singer explained that his struggles after being diagnosed with ADHD. I got diagnosed with ADHD a long time ago. They gave me Adderall, he wrote, adding that the drug led to some difficulties. Williams then detailed some of his symptoms: restlessness. My toes dance all day. They never, they are never still. I wiggle them, wave them, and try to make them, or or try to make them stretch like a hand would. Another one is impulsivity. So if you ever see me on TV or on stage, is not, my behavior is making you raise a quizzitive eyebrow. Just know my ADHD is full on and probably in high definition. Number 16, Nelly Furtado. Back in 2023, Furtado revealed that she received an ADHD diagnosis in adulthood as she announced her comeback to music. I believe that I've had it my whole life, but playing instruments 6 days a week as a kid kept me in check. The Man Eater singer, that's her song, I guess, said during a cover shoot interview with Vault magazine, I think it was probably a blessing that we didn't know until now, because I think I'm mature enough now to not be overly dramatic about it and just deal with it and find solutions rather than dwell on the emotional side of it. Some of these surprised me, honestly. Some of the ones that I learned surprised me. Number 17, Lily Allen. In 2022, the Smile singer revealed that she was diagnosed with ADHD after moving to the States. She said that the diagnosis was one of the reasons why she decided to take a step back from social media in 2020. I've actually just been diagnosed with adult ADHD, she told the Times. I've had to completely switch off social media because as soon as I look at it, it can be hours of my day gone. I think her name is, I think her name is Greta Gertwig. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. I'm dyslexic, so I do have pronunciation issues on top of being autistic and an ADHD as well. Okay, so the Barbie director, 41-year-old, described having tons of energy and being a rule follower as a child. I've always had tremendous amounts of enthusiasm, she told the Observer. I'm just interested in like everything. I had a very active imagination. I've had a lot of very deep thoughts. I was emotional. Now as an adult, I have ADHD. They diagnosed me. But as a child, my mom was like, I'll sign her up for every activity. Let's tire her out. So basically, I think her mom probably didn't know that she had ADHD, so that probably makes more sense that she would do that. Number 19. There are 35, just to let you know. This is kind of it's going to probably be a longer stream. This is Kara, I think her name is Devine, or Divine. Whichever way she says it. Sorry for saying her name wrong. The model and actor, 32-year-old, previously spoke candidly about struggling in her teen years with her ADHD diagnosis. Speaking back in 2017, she explained, "I'm not in hell now. The things that stick with all of us the most are the dark times, the most traumatic times. Those are some of the things I remember the most. I didn't know how to communicate my feelings. I was very ashamed of the way I felt. I had a very privileged upbringing. I was very lucky. What was I? Oh, sorry. I was very lucky that I went to amazing school." She continued, and the guilt of feeling that way and not being able to tell anyone because I shouldn't feel that way and I shouldn't feel bad. It's just a guilt. Number 20, Solange Knowles. When Solange was first told that she had ADHD back in 2008, she demanded a second opinion. I was diagnosed with ADHD twice, she told BET. I didn't believe that the first doctor who told me, I didn't believe the first doctor told me. I had the whole theory that ADHD is just something that they invented to make you pay for medicine. But the second doctor told me I had it. I guess I was in denial. I didn't understand exactly what it was. Number 21, Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton's ADHD diagnosis came at an early age. The socialite and businesswoman had been taking medication to stimulate the nervous system, central nervous system, since the age of 12, but says living with the condition was toughest when she spent 23 days in prison for a driving violation back in 2007. In a Larry King interview following her release, she said, "I have attention disorder that so it's hard to pay attention to things." Paris, who has built a multi-billion-dollar company empire, says that she learned that with her ADHD during her incarceration, and it never affected her professionally in TV, singing, and other ventures. "I'm fine with everything," she told him. Number 22, Michelle Rodriguez, the most famous for her badass character, Lenny Ortiz, I think they said last name, in Fast and Furious. Michelle Rodriguez has found it difficult to progress from acting to directing because of her lack of focus. She speaks about her experience of ADHD with cosmetology back in 2013. She said, "I want to write and direct, but it's not easy with ADHD. I have a hard time focusing when I'm alone. However, the 46-year-old is still conflicted about treating the condition. I'm a scatterbrain," she added, "but I'm nervous about taking medication. I don't really want to depend on something to control my brain." Number 23, Victoria Pettery, I think that's how you say it, or Pettetti. Maybe it's Petteretti. Sorry if that pronunciation is wrong. One of the greatest challenges the actress Victoria Pettery, is what I'm going to say, Pettery, I think that's how you say it, was about living with ADHD is the label. Being told at 6 or 7 years old was damaging, the actress reflected in a chat on Glamour magazine in 2020. "I had ADD, severe ADD, whatever that means. It affects the way I live, the way I think, the way I process information or don't process information." She added that because it was so damaging to me at the age, it was so damaging to me at the age because it didn't do anything for how I define myself. It only allowed others to make assumptions and feel like they had the answers to something far complicated than ADD. People with ADD are very different. I remember going to an ADD support group and being like, "I don't like these people, and why should I?" The diagnosis certainly hasn't held Victoria back, though. She landed in major parts like Love, Quinn and You, and Danny in The Haunting of Blair Manor. Number 24, Helen Flanagan. Actress Helen Flanagan, known for playing Rosie Webster in Coronation Street, has openly shared her diagnosis of ADHD. Once, sadly, talking about a bad reaction with one of her medications, she has also spoken about her struggles with PMDD, or post-menstrual, I think it's dysphoric disorder. I'm sorry if I didn't say that right. And helped her raise awareness for the condition. We have Mel B, or Spice Girl Mel B, has become a master at managing symptoms of ADHD, previously saying that exercising is one of the best ways to keep your mind focused and clear. Talking to Paul, I think her name, McKenna, for his Positivity podcast, Mel said, working out for me is for my mind because I do have ADHD, dyslexia. I mean, the list goes on and on. I find working out helps me meditate and it helps me get rid of a bit of my anxiety and helps me focus on me just for that 45 or for that hour. Number 26, Olivia Atwood. Former, uh, former Love Island star Olivia Atwood did not know that you could get ADHD as an adult. Olivia told a Loose Women panel a few years ago it was a stroke of luck that she got the diagnosis from a psychiatrist who specialized in ADHD. Olivia had combined ADHD where you have 6 or more symptoms of each category. Inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity, and explained that if it's unmanaged during her 20s, it caused a lot of stress for everyone around her. Opening up about the revelation on ITVB. I don't know, I think maybe that may be in Britain or somewhere, definitely not in the US. So Olivia Atwood meets her match. The reality star said, pre-Love Island, it's just kind of hit the point where everything came to a head. My anxiety was through the roof. I was fluctuating in and out of mild depression. I had to actually get some help for it. On seeing a specialist, she continued, when I was with the doctor for a couple of hours, she was like, have you ever been ever been diagnosed with ADHD? And I was like, yeah, as a child. But you can't have it as an adult, can you? She was like, you actually can. I think not being aware of your ADHD tendencies can lead to you being really hyperactive, and then you're dealing with anxiety that brings on depression. It's like a big chicken and egg situation. Number 27, SZA. SZA, living with ADHD hasn't been easy. In fact, it's effing hard. It's effing difficult, she says. It's a little embarrassing, the musician told ID magazine a few years ago, especially when I'm nervous. My mind is running a mile a minute. My ADHD speaks for me before I speak for me. If I'm in public and people walk up to me because I've never been famous before, I probably lost something by the time everyone has left me. I'm easily disoriented, but I'm getting a hold of that. There we go. It took a while for the musician to accept the diagnosis, but she's finally learning to stop changing herself for others. In an interview for Cosmopolitan, she admitted that I didn't want to have ADHD. I want to be a normal person. And I think that craving and editing myself hindered me. So I stopped editing. And that was all. The embarrassment of me still standing and existing all the time, every moment. But it's also learning the acceptance part and also being down to see where me takes me. Where me takes me is the part that sets me free. Number 28, Georgia Harrison. As a teenager, Love Island star Georgia Harrison was labeled as a troublemaker, even thrown out of private school before she knew she had ADHD. Speaking to OK about her experience, Georgia said, I found it hard to concentrate. I was getting in trouble for being too loud, speaking when I shouldn't, interrupting people. I had all the symptoms. Instead of being given help to navigate my symptoms, Georgia said ADHD wasn't spoken about enough, and when she was in school. Back then, she continued, the people who had ADHD were treated like they were different and put into different sets and stuff rather than being helped. Number 29, Simone Biles. In 2016, Simone Biles had never spoken publicly about her having ADHD, but the U.S. gymnast tweeted about her experience when her private medical results were publicized by a group of hackers, revealing that she had a medical exemption to use one of the World Anti-Doping Agency's banned substance. In a statement on X or Twitter, for some people I call it so that, Simone wrote, I have ADHD. I've taken medication for it since I was a child. Please know that I believe in clean sport and always follow the rules. I will continue to do so, as fair play is crucial to sport and very important to me. The 32nd or 32 times Olympic medal and world championship winner went on to say that she didn't feel afraid to speak about it, adding ADHD and taking medication for it is nothing to be ashamed of. Number 30, Adam Levine. 3-time Grammy Award-winning artist Adam Levine says ADHD sometimes affects his songwriting and recording, even though you'd never know from his back catalog of hits. After experiencing ADHD symptoms at school, Adam was surprised to learn that the condition was still strong as an adult. Writing for Attitude magazine in 2019, the Maroon 5 singer said, I had trouble sometimes writing songs and recordings in the studio. I can't always focus and complete everything I had to. I remember in the studio once I remember being in the studio once and having 30 ideas in my head, and I couldn't document any of them. He continued, if you're diagnosed with ADHD as a child or kid, you might also have it now. ADHD is not a bad thing, and you shouldn't feel different from those without ADHD. Remember that you aren't alone. There are others going through the same thing. Number 31, Erin O'Connor. British model Erin O'Connor was in her 40s before she was told she had ADHD. Now 46, the mom of two, says that certain parts of her life certainly make a lot more sense thanks to the diagnosis. She told Stella magazine a few years ago, I discovered I had ADHD, which was new. In retrospect, it is very helpful to be able to piece together and understand certain things in my personality and growing up. I'm actually currently resitting my maths GCSE, and anyone who's from the UK, can you please tell me what that is? I know it has to do with some kind of testing for, probably some kind of test for school. I don't know exactly because I'm not from there, I'm from the US. It just means a lot to me personally. Now I understand how my brain wants to function and store information. I've been able to understand how I can become a more straightforward learner. I think her name is Zoe. Yeah, Zoe did. Hold on. Sorry for his pronunciation issues again. I think her last name is Deschanel. I think that's her last name. Not many people know that new girl actress Zoe Deschanel is living with ADHD. She kept her experiences largely to herself, but previously hinted that crafting was one thing that she kept her focus. In a 2011 blog post for Hello Giggles, Zoe wrote, are you an unmedicated adult with attention deficit disorder who also loves crafts, to do crafts? I am. I barely have the patience to write this opening paragraph. I've already gotten up 4 times, so I need to focus my unfocused mind on projects that can be completed quickly. I recognize that I will never complete something that takes the kind of patience. Sorry, needlepoint. So I decide to focus on this blog on crafts I can complete. Number 33. Justin Timberlake. Former NSYNC singer Justin Timberlake confirmed that he had ADHD in a 2008 interview with Collide, giving a rare and extremely brief insight into his experience of the condition. JT equipped, I have OCD mixed with ADD. You try living with that. Number 34, Tanya, I think her name is Bardsley. Like many people with ADHD, reality star Tanya Bardsley said her diagnosis felt like a big weight that was lifted off her shoulders. It was like, finally, I know what's wrong with me. I am so sorry for the truck that went past. And I can find the tools that can help me. She said in a chat with Andrew Kitley for the podcast The Invisible Gift. She went on, you'll find out most entrepreneurs have ADHD because you've got like 17 TVs going in your head, whereas someone without it has one going in their head. So we're just like the right to the right, and the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. So the revelation collides with her decision to quit. The Real Housewives of Cheshire. I think this is England. I'm in England or the UK. As she revealed plans to work out the proper or appropriate level of medication to take for the condition. She recently warned others against taking advice on internet forums after experiencing heart palpitations and even a seizure from warning. I've been doing a lot of research on everything about ADHD for a special project. I tried 3 different medications for ADHD. I stopped taking the third ones after having heart palpitations and a seizure. So I've been back fully ADHD, and my focus has been terrible in the past weeks. And the last one, which is 35, Dave Grohl. Food Fighter musician Dave Grohl, 55, says his education was impeded by a raging case of ADD, saying that he tried his best to maintain focus during classes, but eventually left school before the age of 17. He made this revelation during a YouTube monologue called In Defense has regrets about dropping out to pursue his dreams of being a musician. During a Rolling Stones interview, he also reflected on school reports that hinted about his ADHD from a young age. It's abysmal from first grade, he confessed, and they said the same thing my entire life. Dave has potential if only he could sit down and focus and stop trying to entertain the effing glass. Note, there are probably more celebrities who are ADHDers out there, but this list mentioned above was based on the information from the article that I provided. Today's planned video is on the topic of ADHD burnout, and it will be released today at 6 p.m. Eastern. The next fun and scripted live stream will be on Monday, May 5th at 4 p.m. Eastern. The next scripted live stream will be on Saturday, May 10th at noon Eastern, and will be on the topic of dyslexic celebrities. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. Bye.